Welcome everybody to the War and Peace Baseball Podcast. I'm here today with Forbode Merkazi and Alex Rudy. I'm Alex Uwe, and we are back. We have top stories, as we always do. How are you guys doing today, by the way?
I'm doing pretty fine.
I'm going to assume that both of you said great.
No, I said outstanding.
I said pretty fine.
Well, close enough. Alright, anyway. Let's get on to baseball, and let's get on to the hottest team in baseball right now. The Cleveland Indians, who will never lose a baseball game again since the Cavaliers won the NBA championship. Because they are 13-0 since then, and they're still going strong, it seems like. Jesus Christ, 13-game win streak is pretty impressive, ties their franchise record. Like, what's going to stop them? Because it's going to take one of their starting pitchers getting injured to stop them, and that might not happen.
I would say their offense maybe playing just kind of playing to their talent for a short amount of time might make them lose their mojo. But can I just say, even though Terry Francona was the Red Sox manager and I am a Yankees fan forever, I love Francona. The Indians seem like a very fun, likable team, and I really dislike most of the other teams in that division. So, all props.
Wait, you're telling me you dislike the Royals?
The Fight Club. The Fight Club.
But you can't. I'm not trying to change the subject right away. Sorry, and I know you're asking us the question, but don't you guys kind of think they're the most likable team? They're a very likable team. Not the most likable team, but they're
most likable team.
Obviously not. They're last in attendance.
Not the most, but they're likable.
They're likable. I think small market teams are automatically more likable just because they're not they don't do anything to upset people. They just have really good players and they play baseball.
They're there.
They have so many, it's all about the players, and they don't have any of those those trigger players. They have the models of Lindor and Kipnis that are some of the best, just people in baseball. They've got, their pitching staff is just amazing, and they keep to themselves. They're not outgoing, and they're not fiery in the news all the time. They're a very steady team, and I think I would draw the comparison to the Mets of last year. They have this amazing pitching staff, and they're going to be really, really good if they just add one more bat in the middle of that order.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
I think the key to this team is the pitching is outstanding, and there's really only one guy overperforming, and that's Josh Tomlin. And to be honest, he's not even having that incredible of a year for it to be blatant, wow, he's gonna come back to earth. To be honest, the pitching is all really performing to how we've been expecting to perform for 3 years basically now.
They're all on the field.
It's as much shit as the offense gets. Yeah, it's not. There's several guys who just do a couple of things really well. And they definitely play it to the sum of their parts. I think Lindor and Kipnis are probably the only all-around great bats on the team, and that's their foundation. And Kipnis is having an amazing year, but I'm sure he'll heat up. And Lindor's already, I would say he's a superstar. It's at least a star already. And then Davis, Napoli, Santana, those guys all can contribute consistently in their own way. So. Probably if Brantley can come back as maybe 80% of what he was the past 2 seasons and they can get one more bat, I think they're in really good shape.
Don't forget about the most attractive man in baseball manning the hot corner for them.
Yeah. Hey, this team's just, you guys said it, they're very likable. I love Francona as a manager. Pitching staff's very good. They just need that extra bat.
Did you see that Juan Uribe hit a home run in 4 straight games after he returned from his
getting his
testicular contusion?
That hurts. That hurts thinking about it.
We all play the game because of these moments. Sometimes you just have to hit 4 dingers to get back at the baseball for hitting you there. Anyway, where do you guys see Cleveland's win streak ending at? How many games?
What is it at right now? 14?
13.
13?
Let me see if I can pull up a schedule for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to pull up, but my Wi-Fi is dog shit.
They were playing... Let's see here. Okay, they're about to start a series of Toronto.
Is it
At Toronto, I would say Bauer Estrada, which is Saturday, can be a loss. That's probably what I would put. I think they'll win Tomlin's Stroman's. Stroman's been really cold.
Yeah, I can see them winning 2 of 3 in this series, and then the middle game is the one that they drop.
Yeah.
So,
but to be honest, like, they're 48 and 30 right now, and their division is pretty weak, I would say, overall. Unless they really, really come back to earth and just like completely slow down to a standstill,
it said
I think they're kind of guaranteed playoffs by this point.
it said I found something that said if they play 500 ball for the rest of the year, they have 90 wins. Exactly.
Okay, that's a great point. Okay, so exactly that. So, I mean, this division's been pretty wacky, honestly, considering, a lot of people thought the Twins would be a lot better than they were. Chicago's had a bizarre season. Kansas City has been a little bit disappointing, and Detroit's been very disappointing, I think. So I think
Detroit is, it's a bit unfortunate what's going on there. Just like their pitching is in shambles yet again. We'll see what happens going forward. Real quick, give me one name that you want to see as a Cleveland Indian by the end of this year, down the stretch.
One guy?
One player that you think will go to Cleveland and help this team in the playoffs.
I mean, I think Jay Bruce is the man.
Jay Bruce would be, yeah.
But they could also use who's like a tradable, like, first, third baseman, DH type guy.
Corner infielder.
They could probably use someone like that because Napoli Santana as the first base DH isn't amazing. Like, I would argue their outfield is better than that combination.
I would say, a corner infielder would be ideal.
Yeah, and Uribe starts so Chisenhall doesn't play.
And Chisenhall's an outfielder.
Oh, life changes.
Chisenhall plays a lot in right field, I believe.
Just like Trevor Wood, or whatever his name is.
Yes, or any of the 3 Cubs pitchers, which we'll get to a little bit later on. That was quite a game. But let's talk about some more amazing months in baseball.
Oh, so did anyone have a name that they want to throw out for the tradable?
Oh, the tradable third baseman.
Third baseman.
Let's see. That is a tough one. Third base is a very strong position, too. I don't know why
I think they need someone at one of those 2 spots.
Danny Valencia.
Because they're getting Brand. That would be perfect, actually. That's the guy.
They make a lot of trades with the A's, so I can see that 100%.
If Danny Valencia, they get him, Brantley comes back healthy, I don't even know if they even need Jay Bruce, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's other outfield bats out there, too, that don't have to be Jay Bruce. There's, Carlos Beltran. You could go the Carlos Gonzalez route if you're really wanting to get excited. I don't know if that'll happen, but there's a lot of options out there.
Do they have what's their farm system?
They have enough. They have a couple really good young outfielders, and I could see them flipping one of them for a top tier player. But I don't know that they'd have to deal one of those.
Or either of those guys who could play this year in the major leagues.
They're both in Double-A right now.
Okay, so they could be.
So either one or both of them could join the big league roster, which would be another interesting move, like a Conforto-ish type move. Except there's 2 of them.
They could do that too. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. So let's move on to talking about the new June home run champions, the Orioles, who have hit 56 in the month of June. That's a lot of home runs. I don't know if you've been keeping track of that. It's mostly in part to Adam Jones, Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, and Manny Machado is going to hit him too. They really have got one of the best lineups in the game. You guys seem to deny that a lot, especially before this month.
We don't deny it. Last time you
last time you both said you take the Red Sox over the Orioles.
This is why they set the record, because they heard us.
Yeah, they were like, hey, screw you people. We're going to freaking show you who the best offensive team is.
No, but we never denied that they're not one of the best lineups in the game. They're a very dynamic lineup with very powerful bats in a pretty good hitter's park. I mean,
there's top is all. That was all we were arguing.
Yeah.
Arguing that they were top heavy.
They are top heavy, but let's talk about the bottom that's starting to pick up the slack a little bit too. One of those players is Jonathan Scope, who's having a career year right now. Have you seen what he's been doing lately? It's unbelievable.
No, because I'm preparing for.
I just want to say.
Oh yeah, don't look at stats because we're going to be doing a stat game later on.
Look at a lot of stats. Sorry.
It's okay.
The Netherlands baseball team, national baseball team, is going to be quite good. With him, Didi, Bogarts, Profar. I mean, they only have middle infielders. That's their weakness. But if they play baseball with 9 shortstops, they might be the best team in the world.
Quite possible. 9 shortstops on a field. I want to see that team actually in the majors. But yeah, that's the Orioles really. They're really dominant, but they're not running away with the division. It seems like a lot of these major powerhouse teams are just wiping the floor with the rest of the division. Not the case here. That's a very competitive division, relatively speaking. Do you think the Orioles have enough steam? They have enough pitching to get through to the playoffs? They have a 5-game lead over Boston right now.
I'm sorry.
I think they need more.
Yeah, I would be shocked if they had enough pitching to make it through the playoffs. If they have a scary.
I'd be shocked if they won the division. I wouldn't be shocked if they caught steam, if their offense got hot, enough later in this year and got a wild card or something.
I think it's time to put Bundy in the rotation. Honestly,
that's interesting.
I don't know why I haven't tried that yet, because Jimenez and Gallardo are and this Mike Wright guy, who I don't even know who that is, no offense to him. They're just guaranteed losses unless you're. As good as their offense is, those guys all have ERAs over 5.75. That's
basically the Rangers pre-Cliff Lee.
And Gossman, who I love. I've loved Gossman for a while. He's not ready to be dependent on the playoffs. This is his first even close to complete season in his career as a starting pitcher. And Tillman, who you've said for a while, you think he's going to come back to earth a little bit, considering.
And he has a little bit, but they still seem to win games.
That's one guy. To basically rely on Chris Tillman as their entire pitching staff, that's not that's maybe it's sustainable in the regular season, but time and time again, we've seen, at least in this era of baseball, whatever that is, that you need dominant pitching to go all the way.
But we've also, to go all the way, I would say that's certain. But we've also seen the Orioles shock the world and go to the playoffs in previous years, where we said the same exact thing. They have 0 chance. They have no pitching. They can't make it. And
they're definitely going to go to the.
You say they're definitely in, because that is a very, very competitive wild card race. Even if you guys say they don't win the division, that's a very competitive wild card race.
I think someone in the AL East is getting at least one of the wild cards. There's no doubt.
That's fair, because that is probably the most competitive division.
I would still think that if I had to bet, I would bet on 2 of the teams getting. To be honest, I think the Blue Jays, and then two of the Blue Jays, Orioles, and Red Sox are going to get the wild cards. I think they're the strongest teams. I think those are the three best teams in the AL except for the Rangers and the Indians, and those teams are going to win their divisions.
Well, I'll take this opportunity to talk about a team that you did not mention as being one of the wild card contenders, and that is the Houston Astros. They have really, really, really turned it on in the last 33 games in the last month or so. They've won I think the number was 24 of their last 33 games. That is unbelievable. They are back into second place, and they could not make any ground up on the Texas Rangers, who have been pretty much just as hot, and they are still 10 games back in the division, I believe, which is pretty unbelievable for a team that just freaking destroyed all of baseball in the last calendar month. What do you guys think about these Texas teams? They're 8.5 games back.
Okay,
right now.
The Astros, when they started out cold, I never thought that they were going to be like this for the rest of the year. They had a bunch of their offensive players just underperforming. Yeah, Dallas Keuchel is not Dallas Keuchel, and I mean, I didn't think they were going to be okay. I saw stories and people saying how were the Astros last year just a fluke, or were they overhyped last year? No, I think it's just certain seasons. I don't know. I thought they were still going to be good. They're not as good as we all thought they were going to be from the beginning of the season, but I thought they were still going to be good, and they're getting hot again, and hopefully it'll be somewhat of a race at the end of the year.
It's definitely a race right now. I mean, the 8.5 game lead is definitely a little bit wider than I think it's going to be at the end of things. Even Seattle is 1 game over 500 and 10.5 games back. So I think that's going to be a decently competitive division when it's all said and done. The Rangers are insanely good. I give the Astros a slight edge just in terms of offense, but the pitching of the Rangers has really impressed me. Cole Hamels has been their guy, and that's what the Astros are missing. Because, you talk about having that horse to carry you through the postseason. It's really, it's kind of a necessity at this point. We talked about the Orioles not having a chance to make it deep into the playoffs, and that's all the Rangers are really focusing on at this point. They are confident that they are going to at least get into the playoffs, and they just need to find a way to finally win a World Series. They've been there twice in the Ron Washington years, and they cannot get any farther, it seems. But right now, it seems like they have the best team they've had in a while. So what can we say about what the Astros and or the Rangers need to do to ensure that they can reach their goal and make it deep into the playoffs, which they have not been able to do recently?
I think the Astros need to get starting pitching, and Dallas Keuchel needs to step it up.
So I'm going to say I really, really, really hope the Astros do not go on a spending spree yet again, because that was just horrendous last year what they did.
Yeah. You're right. They've been really, really carefully smart in managing their assets for so long when they were rebuilding to an obsessive degree, and then they got really good, and they just said fuck it to the entire plan, and they essentially tossed away a lot of good, at the very least, assets, even if you didn't see them in their future. And even at one of them, Mark Appel just got, I think, about to get Tommy John. They give up quite a bit of talent, and their farm system, as good as it is right now, probably couldn't take another hit like that.
Yeah, you're talking about names like Vincent Velasquez, Jonathan Villar, Josh Hader, some of the best some of the best players in these other weak organizations that they traded to, and I just can't help but be sad to imagine their team if they kept this group together. They kept the plan. They just stockpiled as much young talent as they could and filled in the field as needed, because it would be a different outlook. They would not have to play Luis Valbuena at third base if you have Jonathan Villar. And obviously Jonathan Villar was a different player with the Brewers. The Astros didn't really play him in a way that helped his development in any way. The Brewers are just letting him run wild, and it's working. So there's a lot of factors that vary based on what teams they're playing for. You can't project how things would have gone differently for that team. But I'm telling you right now, the Astros would are very. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. They are missing Vincent Velasquez and probably even a guy like Josh Hader who they could at least use out of the pen. They don't have enough steam. They're using guys like Doug Fister and Mike Fiers. Lance McCullers is injured. They don't have the same power in that rotation. I don't know what the heck they're going to do going forward because I can't see them trading for another big name, but I can't see the help coming from the minor leagues because it just really isn't. Speaking of help from the minor leagues, I just want to get your quick take on AJ Reed, who has been called up.
Can I just ask one question about the Astros?
Yeah.
Is most of their top talent still kind of in the early stages of development in the minor leagues?
Most of their top talent, I mean, Alex Bregman is the most clear example of the next guy to break through. He's already in AAA, by the way. For anybody keeping track of that, drafted last year, already in AAA. He is going to play this year. I don't know to what capacity he's going to play. He's going to play third base, and he's been working out at third base. He's been playing third base for the minor league team. That is their plan. That is what's going to happen at some point in the year. I don't know if it's just going to be as a September call-up. I don't know if
it's really their issue.
If they can play Alex Bregman at third base over Luis Valbuena, I think they will do that in a heartbeat.
But is that really the issue?
Well, they can't convert Alex Bregman into a pitcher. That's just not how it works. They have a top third base.
But why not?
They have a top prospect that they can use at third base as a major upgrade.
They should do it, but there's no doubt about that. But all I'm saying is that would you say it's going to move the needle really in the positive direction?
I mean, it obviously will in a positive direction, but I don't know if that will...
Significantly.
It's not going to do the same as, let's say, Josh Hader would have if he was still... I'm really stuck on Josh Hader.
Or Vincent Velasquez would have probably.
Well, Vincent Velasquez did start... He would have been a starter. Actually, he would not have been a starter. He would have pitched out of the bullpen. I don't see how that would have worked out for the Astros necessarily for him. He would have been solid out of the bullpen. I think that much is true. His stuff is electric. I just don't know beyond that, though. I don't know what kind of pitching they have in that farm system that's going to help them a lot. They have one pitcher who is very, very hot in the minor leagues for them, Joe Musgrove, I think was his name, but he has slowed down significantly. I don't think he's ready. He was pitching in lower levels for sure, so yeah, there's a lot of question marks there. I want to get your take on AJ Reed, though, who is probably the most exciting prospect that is now on the field. Like, the most intriguing guy. And he has not done anything so far.
Yeah, he's struggling.
That's all.
He can't have played too many games yet, right?
No, but he has done nothing. I think he was hitting...
zero, right?
Yeah. Okay. That's nothing. So...
That's not ideal. Did they have a...
He's 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts.
Wasn't there other guy who was starting at first base also a pretty recent prospect?
Tyler White was also a prospect, and he really... They gave him a very, very healthy size chunk of time to try to adjust, and he just could not. He started off out of the gates, just wowed all of baseball. People were speculating on him being a top 10 first baseman by the end of this year. Certainly did not happen. He's not been very good.
And then they had that other guy who was a first baseman prospect who they signed to a 3-year, $9 million extension or something before he even made it to the majors. He was a total bust last year.
Singleton?
Yeah.
Yeah, John Singleton.
So clearly they are awful at developing first basemen at a major league level.
Well, I don't...
Guys, that's not a coincidence. If one of them fails...
Okay, why is it that they fail at... I don't... From an offensive perspective, they've developed plenty of good bats. Just seems first baseman can't do it.
3 first basemen all fit to develop offensively.
I'm going to say AJ Reed is by no way a bust yet.
Has been hitting in the majors for a week, so not him. But there's a chance, at least, that he's going to be the third straight guy who doesn't adjust. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, there is a chance of that happening. AJ Reed's gonna play. He's gonna play until they just absolutely can't handle it anymore. And they're gonna end up playing like Marwin Gonzalez and Tyler White platooning there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the heck's gonna happen with them at first base. But the point is, the Astros are a very, very hot team, but they might not be hot enough to catch the Texas Rangers.
You just shot all over them, so.
We did, but they are a very, very, very good team still. George Springer, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa have really stepped it up.
I gotta say, the Rangers are a different kind of level of baseball, and their offense is disgusting, in my opinion. It's just so,
deep.
As long as Prince Fielder heats up, which I think he will. I know a lot of people might think he's done. He's such a good hitter. I think he has a chance of heating up to at least what he was doing last year. So, I mean, as long as their pitching staff gets healthy, which is obviously they have Darvish, Holland, and Lewis, as well as several relievers all in the DL, which is pretty insane. But still, they still have A.J. Griffin, who turned around his career, returned to his Oakland levels. Martin Perez is very solid. And, of course, Cole Hamels is Cole Hamel. So, I mean, this is a good team.
Is Cole Hamels the All-Star Game starter for the American League?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say, I mean, is there anyone doing better? He's having an incredible season.
Well, you could obviously turn to one of the Cleveland starters who are unbelievable as well. But Cole Hamels has carried his team.
Kind of deserves it, I feel like. Like, Cole Hamels...
He's been the guy.
Has he ever been an All-Star Game starter, I guess, is my question.
Oh, no. I can't imagine he was with the Phillies at any point. No.
So, I mean, he kind of... I don't know. Cole Hamels might be one of the more underrated guys in this baseball generation. You could make the case.
He has been one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball since he was traded to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah. In a hitter's ballpark. So, I think this team needs one more reliever of any kind. It doesn't have to be a closer, because Sam Dyson, who I've never heard of, until this year is doing fine. And they somehow turned Matt Bush into a reasonably effective reliever, which is quite a bizarre story to be a great 30 for 30. And they probably need one more bat because Moreland is horrendous, and this is just, he's not a fielder. He doesn't have that kind of room, to heat up. He's not a guy making $20 million and I think playing at former MVP level of baseball. So, and if they get maybe a catcher who doesn't hit 197.
So does every other team in baseball for the most part.
I think, can they make Profar first baseman?
Can we just make Profar a catcher?
Profar's
played first base, by the way.
Maybe that's the answer.
No, he's this season, he's been playing first base.
I know. He's hitting 30-30, hitting very well, so maybe just play him at first base. Just have a 190-pound first baseman. That's the secret.
Heavyweight. Yeah. Yeah.
And
so
Desmond. Holy shit, Desmond.
Holy Desmond. I've always been an Ian Desmond fan. No, I was one of the optimists. I could not have imagined anything like this. He's playing center field for them now. Nobody saw that.
He's playing well.
He's playing, pretty decent defense, and he's playing way over anything he's ever done with the Nationals. It's actually not way over. He's just playing over. The batting average is the biggest separator right now. He's hitting over 300.
Yeah.
And it just
what contract did he turn down from the Nationals?
What was the contract he turned down?
I think it was 4 years, 90 or something around there.
Do you think he's gonna get more?
Yeah.
Not
in this market.
Lot,
in this market, he's getting more. You can use him as a shortstop. You can use him as a center fielder. They know he's gonna hit though. They know that the last season with the Nationals was a fluke. It had to be. because this is happening now. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Speaking of, you mentioned him earlier, Sam Dyson. He had quite a rough time dealing with the New York Yankees in their last series. I just wanted to talk about that really quick. He gave up, 6 runs in the 9th inning to lead to a Yankees walk-off victory on a home run by Sir Didi Gregorius.
I really wonder when the last time the Yankees scored 6 runs in the 9th inning to win. I'm going to go with never.
I mean, it's a very old team, so I'm sure it's happened at some point. But the point is, the Yankees are a very weird team. And I think if you have to rank, top 10 series in baseball, over the course of a season, the series they had against the Rangers was probably one of those. They lost a 6-hour game that had, a 3 to 4 hour rain delay in the middle of it. In the 9th inning, when Chapman was on the mound closing, put the tarp on, waited it out, and played again in the middle of the night, brought in another reliever. The Rangers came back and won.
How do you guys feel about that, by the way?
Because it's just shit luck. That's all it is.
No, but I know people, some people were arguing that after, you know how after the 5th inning, technically games can be.
I think it should have been called.
At some point especially if it's the first of a 4-game series, you can make the argument that it could have been called after an hour of the delay, and been okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
It certainly could have, and it's obviously very rough because there's no strict guideline. It's all up to the umpires and it's all their decision. And it seemed very clear that the Rangers were going to play that game. As a Yankee fan, it kind of hurts a little bit, but at the same time, it's just terrible luck. Chapman was not looking good in that inning to start with anyway, but I think he could have handled it if they kept it out there. I see why they did it, but I guess I'm just happier now that the Yankees came back and really showed up for the rest of the series. In the last game of the series, they won on a walk-off pass ball, so that's the Yankees' key to success right there. You gotta score on every pass ball and win games that way. Is that valid?
Absolutely.
Is that the best offensive approach for them?
Arguably, it's a Joe Madden strategy for sure.
Well, no, Joe Madden's strategy is suicide squeeze every time.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
All right, that's our second mention of Joe Madden in the show already, and we haven't even gotten to him yet. But I wanted to stay in the AL East a little bit longer and talk about the Red Sox, who just this morning violated the international, or they were found to, they didn't do it this morning, they were found to be in violation of the international signing limits. They didn't do all of this morning. No,
it's incredibly unsurprising that this happened.
Yeah, so basically what happened is they signed multiple free agents, international free agents from the same, they all had the same agent, and there's a $300,000 cap on these players, and so they had 3 from the same agent, and then the agent redistributed some of the money committed to the other 2 lesser players to the top player, so he basically is getting paid much more than $300,000. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's what happened. So basically, they're using a middleman to pay, the guys they really want more than $300,000, and they are not going to be signing any international amateur baseball players in the next calendar year. So that doesn't mean much to them right now. They have a lot of guys. They're playing well. They're playing good baseball. There's a few contracts that were voided. None of the big ones were voided. So all their prospects are still in order that were supposed to be very good in Yohan Moncada and Anderson Espinoza. But everything is still fine for the Red Sox. I don't think that affects them too much.
No.
Nah.
And I said, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Red Sox.
I know no one cares, but OJ Mayo, NBA player, got suspended 2 years for PED. So, and I'm tying this to baseball because the NBA recently has stepped up their PED testing, so we might be seeing there's a small chance, not a large chance. I think the NBA is secretly corrupt and purposely doesn't suspend guys, but that's a story for another time. There's a small chance we might be seeing another kind of, steroid bust kind of crisis that like the MLB experienced a little while back, where a lot of guys are getting
The
caught.
PED revolution.
Yeah, exactly. That's much more poetically said. Sorry for the interruption.
You heard it here first. I wish I had the breaking news drop. We don't have any drops, so I wish we had drops in general. All right then, let's go ahead and let's move on to the National League. We haven't really talked any National League. We'll do that, and that'll probably do it for our show after that. But we are going to talk about the Mets first, because there's a lot of crap happening with them right now, including
The Mets.
including the fact that they reunited with their former shortstop Jose Reyes. Crickets. What does that mean for them? He hasn't played in the major leagues yet for them. They're still just trying to see what he can do. What are they going to do with Jose Reyes? I'm
Where is he
scratching my
playing
head.
Exactly.
Where is he going to play? He's probably going to play third base or shortstop, depending on how they feel about him. But
Did David Wright die? Oh,
He
he's
did.
done season, right?
yeah, he's not playing this season. He's got some very serious back things going on, so yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Jose Reyes is not good enough to play third base every day on a team trying to make the playoffs and honestly contend for the World Series.
Well, I mean, considering who they've been rolling out at third base in recent games, I mean, Wilmer Flores has been playing some third base, and he's fine.
Is he even worse? Is he worse than Jose Reyes? Like honestly, is he?
No, he's not, and I don't know, because Jose Reyes could be good. Like, he wasn't bad with the Blue Jays, but
Don't they have a top middle infield prospect in like Double A or something?
do they?
I'm 97% positive. I'm just terrible with
Only
remembering.
97.
They have a first base prospect. I don't know about middle infield.
They do. I'm gonna look it up.
All right then. Speaking of prospects, and more of the Mets' ability to just completely turn everything to shit, they have demoted Michael Conforto to the minor leagues and promoted outfield prospect Brandon Nimmo, basically to take his place. This is very bizarre, because, you're like, oh, Conforto, no, they're sending him down already? Like, what's wrong? They're not giving him a chance. This guy was drafted, 2 years ago. A lot of the people in his draft class have not even sniffed the major leagues yet. And they're just sending him down to straighten things out. I don't know what the heck is going to happen with Conforto. He's not done for the year. He's going to play in the major leagues, soon. I think that part has to be the case, unless he just really runs into more trouble. But, Brandon Nimmo is not the answer so far. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Can I interrupt quickly? Sorry. See, they have Gavin Cecchini. I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. I'm terrible with names. He is 22 in AAA. He plays shortstop, second base, and he's hitting 326. And so hitting 455 right now, and he walks almost as much as he strikes out. So I would say he's better than current Jose Reyes. And their number 2 prospect is Ahmed Rosario, who's 20 in AA, and currently hitting 414 in 8 games since he's been promoted. So I'm going to say Jose Reyes has really no major future on this team.
Oh, no, I don't think anybody said that. They signed him for the minimum. He's just going to fill in for a little while.
And I don't know, it's bizarre.
Yeah, bring him up. Why not? Because you have Neil Walker and Asdrubal Cabrera starting up the middle, and that's not a dynamic duo, exactly.
I would say Neil Walker and Asdrubal Cabrera is a pretty average.
It's not a dynamic duo, it's no Francisco Lindor, Jason Kipnis.
Well, not every team is spoiled in sports.
It's not even. I would say it's not even an Elvis Andrus Ned Odor.
Not every city can be Cleveland and just be amazing at all sports forever. They just win the title every year.
I would say that's barely comparable to a Brad Miller, Logan Forsythe up the middle.
I mean, Brad Miller suck ass?
Yeah,
I mean, Forsythe is very good. I thought Brad Miller was terrible, though.
he's not good. But, I mean, I don't know.
He's not good.
The Mets have a lot of problems, is the point, and the young players, there's a lot of shuffling going on, there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of anxiety on that team right now, especially with the starting pitchers. Steven Matz and Noah Syndergaard both have been confirmed to have bone spurs in their elbows. Syndergaard's are less hindering at the moment, but Matz is definitely going to need to have them removed at some point. They're both just going to pitch through it right now, take anti-inflammatories or whatever, but that has to scare the life out of a Mets fan.
Hey.
I mean, Matt Harvey had a rough start to the season, and we all thought it was Armageddon. Can you imagine what would happen if, one of these two major pitchers had to miss time in the season? Oh my goodness.
Fuck elbow injuries.
Yeah, they really suck.
Andrew Heaney.
Let's bring our Angels insider in for another story right now then.
You brought in elbow shit. Andrew Heaney's getting Tommy John. That's...
Can you explain to me how he's possibly out till 2018? It just is July 1st. Or not even June 3rd. Yeah, it's July 1st. How is he out for 2 seasons?
I would assume that they're doing what they did with Tyler Skaggs, and they're gonna give him, since he young and he has time, I don't know, he has time and he can come back, he can take that extra time off, fully heal, and then come back the next year. Because
Garrett Richards, you're next.
Yeah, no, Garrett Richards, he's gonna be out till 2018 too, but the Garrett Richards decision won't come for another month, so that's an obvious 2018 thing. The thing is, if next year the Angels were going to have a winner, I guarantee you he would have attempted to come back at least late season next year.
What? Say that again.
If the Angels were going to have a winner...
Okay, that's the end of the War and Peace Baseball podcast forever, actually. We're going to conclude the show. Yeah. It's been a real pleasure doing this podcast with you guys.
I understand that.
It's been a great year and a half.
Anyway, I'm confused. What happened? I'm kind of confused.
But apparently we've all gone insane, and there's just no hope. There's no
hope. If the Angels were to have a winner next year, there would be a much bigger push to get him back soon. But right now, it's more so for the long term and getting him ready. I don't know for the rest of his career. I don't know how to say it. I think they're doing what they did with Tyler Skaggs, because Skaggs was out for at the end of 2014, and he's still not back right now.
Do you not take issue with that, Rudy?
You guys are incompetent.
Yeah, no. Skaggs had some shoulder problems at the beginning of this year.
Oh no, I don't even care about that part. I take issue with the very first phrase that you said there, to the qualifier for all of this even being a possibility, that Heaney returns. So
if they were I said if they're not going to be a good team. That front office is fucked up. The team's fucked up. They're not going to be a winner. I understand that.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm sorry. I don't mean this in a mean way, though I do admit it brings me joy to see the Angels suck, because I hate Angels fans, excluding you. I find it fun.
Hi?
I don't know. I don't know how you feel about him anymore.
Kind of.
You guys,
the same ship too.
You guys are fucked.
I hate Angel fans.
You're probably the New Jersey Nets of the MLB at this point.
Whoa.
And that's really sad, considering you're the what?
I was going to say that's an insult, but that's true.
And you have the best player in the world at baseball, and yet you're still horrendous with no future. And you have a horrendous.
You're still horrendous with no future.
And you're not just wasting Trout's prime, but Cole Calhoun's prime. And
how in the fuck do we keep talking about the Angels on every single fucking podcast? What is happening?
The most interesting team in baseball.
It was an actual topic yesterday.
We went from the Mets to talking about the Angels, just like that.
You brought it up.
No, I didn't.
Because
Farbo did.
You brought up elbow issues. I brought up Heaney's elbow issues.
I just don't you guys think it's funny that you can like have like this like the best player would be just have no future at all.
Have no future. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
It's sad.
fascinating.
No, I agree.
Let's talk about more sad things because I don't really want to talk about the sad Angels anymore. Let's talk about the other sad LA team right now, who is missing Clayton Kershaw for at least 15 days with a back issue. He is on the DL. What the heck are they going to do? Their pitching staff is not good now at all. Kenta Maeda is your ace right now. He is your number one right now. They recently acquired Bud Norris. Yay, I guess. I don't know. Scott Kazmir has not been very good. I don't know what the heck they're going to do. They don't have anybody. They have Julio Urias, who they throw 5 innings a game, and may not pitch for the Major League squad after the All-Star break. I don't know what the heck they're doing. How many more times can I say heck in this rant? Do the Dodgers have a legitimate chance to make a push at the playoffs at this point? It's very, very close.
I don't think so.
And it's July, and they're almost out of contention.
What? What
Rudy?
was that?
Hello?
I sneeze.
That scared me.
Scared me too. All right. I think the Dodgers don't have a chance. I think that's just how it is. It's LA. They're gonna say they're in contention to the very end. They are not gonna budge, but they have no chance. They just don't. Their outfield is not very good. Their infield, frankly, is not very good beyond Corey Seager. Adrian Gonzalez has been shit this year. I don't know what the heck happened to him. How many times am I going to say heck? I keep hearing it, and I can't stop saying it. But what the heck, man? They just really don't have a good team. Their offense is not good. They don't have pitching without Kershaw. It's over for them. And I'd love to see them prove me wrong, but they just can't. Because the Giants are going to win the division. They are by far the best team in that division. And there's too many other good National League teams that are going to win wildcard spots. Is that fair to say? Is that accurate?
How long is Kershaw out?
He's only out for at least 15 days, because it's a back issue. So there's a lot of touchy-feely going forward. Like, they don't want to push him into pitching and make his back worse. It's tricky. It's not like, a sprained ankle or something like that has a standard healing time. So I don't know. We will see about Kershaw, though. He's still the best pitcher in the game.
I think the bigger issue is that the rest of your team sucks.
I just mentioned how much the rest of your team sucks. We're on the same page. So I don't know. I love Corey Seager, though. That's all. Are the Dodgers going to enter the Angels phase with Corey Seager instead of Mike Trout?
They
have a farm system.
I mean, I think. Do you really think he's Mike? You think he's Mike Trout?
No, I'm finding a way to bring the Angels back into the conversation.
I don't want.
Can I say something else about the Dodgers though?
Yeah.
They kind of I think 2 years ago they overhauled their front office and signed a bunch of top minds from the Rays and some other teams. So you would think by now they would have entered a new era of excellence, I guess. Especially considering how strong their farm system is with was with Urias, Seager, a couple other guys. Yet, and Maeda was honestly a good signing. He's been good. Thompson's been a decent option, decent outfield that they traded for. But there's the team just underperforms consistently. It seems like.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Did Jock Peterson ever kind of?
He is what he is. He's gonna hit 25 home runs, and that's about it.
So let me ask you this: they're an okay team, basically masquerading as a contender, right? I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
they're an okay team.
It's Los Angeles, of course they're gonna.
That is, deep playoff run expectations, right? I think that'd be an appropriate way to put it, probably.
Yeah. I thought that was leading into something. No?
No, I just kind of sum it all up.
Okay, yeah, that is a good summary right there. Let's talk about a few more things. Actually, let's talk about the best team in that division right now, because they are playing against the Oakland A's. That is the San Francisco Giants, and they are not
even year.
Ooh, they are not taking advantage of the DH when Madison Bumgarner is on the mound. And he hit a double. So take that, baseball.
I love it. It's amazing.
103-mile-an-hour exit velocity at 17 degrees. Good for a double that went off the glove of Billy Burns' glove in center field.
Do you think that should have been caught?
Yeah, but it's a double, and it's Madison Bumgarner. Yeah. So what do you want?
Yeah.
He just stared out into center field, and his willpower just told one of the best outfielders in the game, "You will not catch this baseball," and then he didn't. Is that a good breakdown?
He needs to be in the home run derby. There's just no doubt.
Well, he's not. So there you go.
Oh, he's not.
He's confirmed. Yeah, he's confirmed to not be in the home run derby.
Which
is the sad. Players' Union doesn't want a pitcher in the home run derby.
Nice things. I want nice things.
The Players' Union doesn't want a pitcher in the home run derby this year.
Speaking of. Wait, what? The what? No?
This year, the Players' Union doesn't want a pitcher in the home run derby.
Did you say the MLB wants to set a wage limit on minor league players?
I saw that, and that is, apparently a lot of people are very okay with that.
No. They said it should not be a career. It should be a temporary destination. I disagree with that so much. There's so many baseball players that get drafted and signed. There's no possible way that it's fair to put a large wage limit on those guys. There's guys who are just never going to make it just because of bad luck.
Yeah,
I really disagree with that.
Well, let's say
if you make it to majors for a week in your career, you're still going to make the vast majority of your money on minor league contracts. I really disagree with that.
Well, okay, so let's see for a sec here, because also like the minor league contract. Do you know what the proposed maximum is, by any chance?
No idea.
Because I'm sure it's plenty. It's we talk about these sports contracts. I'm sure it's a reasonable wage, just as far as wages go. And for these career minor league players, I think it'll be perfectly possible for them to have careers in the minor leagues. But I don't think, they don't necessarily deserve the big bucks that major league players are getting, and they obviously aren't at the moment, but I think they just don't want it to drift that way where it becomes more acceptable for career minor league players. If that happens to be the case, then so be it, but it seems like a very possible option for that people are turning to, and it really should be seen as a temporary stop on your journey to the major leagues. And I think just with the amount of people involved in professional baseball across all these levels, I mean, it's a considerable amount of players that really will never see the major leagues. I think if it does provide any incentive for some of these people to find another career choice at some point earlier than it probably would have in the past, that's probably a good thing, isn't it? Or no? Am I just totally off base?
Wait, say it one more time.
If there's lots of an insane amount of minor league players out there. If some of them, because of this, are incentivized to find other career paths earlier in their minor league careers that aren't working out than they otherwise would have, isn't that a good thing for them to get on a different path in life earlier on?
That's an interesting take. I never
because it's very easy to get stuck in the minor leagues. And
you're right. Oh, you're right. That's probably true. That's fair. I just think, just when I heard this, I thought of the minimum wage in the D League for basketball, which is their minor leagues, and it's only $20,000 a year, which is insanely low to play a professional sport.
Is that a max wage?
That's the. I'm pretty sure it's the minimum wage.
Oh, then that's different. That's like the opposite.
But see, like, but you know, like, look, okay, but the minimum wage in the, like, you know what I'm saying, though, like, that's what I thought of. Oh, okay, actually, I'm wrong. The max salary is $25,000.
Oh.
I just looked up.
Annually?
The minimum is $13,000. Like, that's so much. That's so little money. That's minimum wage.
That is insanely little. Yeah.
Like, you guys, like, you make it that much like at McDonald's basically a year. So, in California at least. So, I mean, and they get a per diem too. Like, food and drink is covered, but like, still, like, I don't think, considering how lucrative sports is, I don't think it's fair to be paying minimum wage to, like, athletes as the maximum thing. So,
oh yeah, no.
I agree.
That's where the cap was. If it was so much in D-League, I would be really against it. If it was not that, if it was, I don't know what a fair number would be, but if it was a significantly higher max,
I'm fairly certain it's not that. Based on, I saw something about it, and I'm pretty sure it was not that. But yeah, that is. I mean, that's always the issue, is that you can't, treat athletes like that. I mean, it's just not sustainable. I mean, there's a lot of, like, arguments that can go back and forth between, like, salaries in sports versus the real world and everything. The fact is that things are going to trend upward in terms of salaries, so I don't think there's a lot of real concern about it. I think it's just, just a small change that they want to make to change the culture of the minor leagues and the mindset of the minor leagues a little bit. I don't know. It's just a little shakeup. So that was a little bit of a sidetrack there. That was a good talk, though. Let's finish up the show by just talking about the best team in all of baseball one more time here, the Cubs.
The Oakland Athletics. Best team in baseball. Oakland A's.
Danny Valencia, MVP. Joe Maddon and the Cubs are still, on a toward pace. They're kind of, the Rangers have definitely caught up to them. But the Cubs right now are rolling out some very interesting lineups because Dexter Fowler is injured. And, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you've ever, if you've looked at any of the lineups they've been rolling out lately with Almora in center field a lot of times now, and Wilson Contreras behind the plate. He's getting a lot more playing time than people thought since he's been called up. So I don't know what their plan is there, because they still have Miguel Montero and Ross, who still need to play every now and then. But, they have a lot of options, and they're rolling out very creative lineups. Javier Baez is playing all over the place. Ben Zobrist is playing outfield again. Chris Bryant plays in the outfield. Javier Baez is a Gold Glover, by the way. I don't know if you've seen some of the plays he's made in the last week. Have you? Have either of you seen anything Javier Baez has done?
No.
No, I have not.
Oh, you guys are missing out. If you could look at a highlight reel of Javier Baez just in the last month, you would say he's a Gold Glover for sure. Where at what position? I have no idea, but you would have to agree with that. So the Cubs, Chris Bryant's heating up. Anthony Rizzo is still Anthony Rizzo. There's no concerns, which is concerning, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense to you? Like, you have to be thinking, like, something is going to happen to this team, right? Like, it's going too well.
Not.
But it's going too well. It's like the calm before the storm,
Something has happened, but that was, like, on opening day, so, with Schwarber. But right now, it's going very well. Good for them.
Yeah, I guess so. It just shows how well built they are for anything unfortunate that happens to them. Dexter Fowler was one of their best hitters, and their leadoff hitter, and he goes on the DL, and they're like, okay, Almora, get up here.
And they also have arguably the most fun and best manager in the game.
Yes, he definitely does. And we brought up the 15-inning game that they played against the Reds, and he had 3 different pitchers play left field, and he like swapped them in and out for different matchups and things like that. The guy's a mad scientist. Like, we've seen the left fielder and pitcher thing 3 times in a game. My goodness. And then, speaking of which, in that game, the Reds bullpen threw 8 no-hit innings in relief against the Cubs before losing. I don't know if that just sums up the Reds right there. They can almost do things. They can almost win games.
They really are that. That's a great way to describe them. That's kind of like, that's their MO, that's their thing.
Like, we're putting it together, we're getting a lot of good players together. We're almost going to win games.
They're really good competing, playing competitive losses.
Yes, they really are. They hit a lot. Adam Duvall is crazy. He's a great hitter. You know, they have a decent offensive team. They have a lot of young pitchers that theoretically should work out sometime soon, but it's just not there. Nothing's there. So that's I guess that's our NL Central take. That's all I've got there for the most part. I guess we never mentioned that Lucas Giolito made his Major League debut, and it was cut short by rain. So we'll see his, I guess, I'm going to consider his next start his real debut, even though he threw 4 scoreless innings. So look out for Lucas Giolito, everybody, because he is a good pitcher. He's the number 1 pitcher in all of minor leagues, in fact. So exciting things are happening in baseball going forward. We will have a lot more top stories to talk about next time, but that is it for today's show. Thank you all for joining us. As always, we appreciate any feedback that you have for us. You can follow us on Twitter at WPB_podcast. We tweet stuff there. We do a lot of stuff there. You can check out our website, which the link for that will be down in the description below as well. I want to get back into writing more articles and things like that. I do plan to have rankings, revised fantasy rankings out for the All-Star break, so look out for that in the future going forward. Anything that you guys are thinking about writing, by the way, for the website?
I need to write a Yankees article. I just keep on putting it off.
Yeah, I'm in that mood too.
I wonder what Farbode's going to write about.
You're also writing a Yankees article. I mean,
I'm gonna write about Al Jefferson, not the Angels.
Jefferson going to the Indiana Pacers.
That would be confusing, wouldn't it? All right.
War and Peace baseball.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, any links that we have in the description, you can check those out. They're all related to our podcast. We will be back next week as usual. We'll actually have a fantasy podcast going out pretty soon as well. So look out for that. Thank you all for joining us once again. As always, Farbode.
Peace.